This video, I'm going to show you how to send telepathic messages, the truth on telepathy, and what you can do to communicate in this fifth dimensional way. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the truth about telepathy. And not just telepathy, but understanding more about the connection that we all have to each other. And as time goes on, as the vibration on the planet continues to raise, there'll be more and more ability for us to connect to each other without using so much words and us using so much body language, but us to actually connect telepathically, using what is called also telepathy. Now, what I'm going to share with you comes a little bit from my own experience. It comes a little bit from Bashar, if you guys have heard of Bashar. And it has to do with understanding that first off, we're all connected. Every single one of us are connected. And think of it like this. This is the way that I use it. And this is the way that I think about it. Our energy fields go around us, but our energy fields also go far, far, far out beyond what we can imagine. So when we are around other people, we are literally immersed in each other's energy fields. So when it comes to telepathically connecting to other people, they're within our energy field regardless. So it's simply about transmitting whatever that message is. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to transmit those messages, how to transmit those telepathic messages. And let me start off by saying that I first started playing around with this when I went through my spiritual awakening. So back in 2012, I went through my spiritual awakening. And I remember my brother Alex and I, we were like, reality is so different than what we think. This is so cool. So what we did is, my brother and I, Alex, what we'd do is, we would do this thing where we would look each other like deep in the eyes and we would send ideas. We would send messages like some type of, we would test each other. So what we would do is we would pick a number between 1 and 100. And what we would do is I would look deep into his eyes and I would imagine that number going from my eyes and my head. And then I would practice it different ways, either it going from my head and then into his, or a feeling or a mental picture, and I would try different things to see what worked. And we played around with this for a while. But after a while of playing around with it, we got pretty good. I remember there was one time, it was like, okay, let's try it again. We tried it again, and the number was 67. And we looked at it, and we did it, it was just like 67, and we're like, oh my God, what are the chances? I guess 1 in 100, but between 1 and 100 is 67. We're like, what does it mean? Because we realized also that our mom, she was born in 1967. So was it some meaning? Like I didn't think of that, the meaning of 67 when I was saying it, oh, our mom's birthday, she was born in 1967. I didn't think of it like that. It was more so just, it was just the number that came, and then he just looked at me and he goes, 67. I was like, yes, that's what it is. And then we kept doing it, and we were right majority of the time. And then eventually you start to doubt it and it starts to go away. But there were many times that we did it and it actually worked. And the chances are, 1 in 100? Now, what we learned to do though is it has to do with the emotion. Bashar says it like this: telepathy is really telempathy, empathic, telepathy. It's an emotion, it's a feeling. So if you want to send a telepathic message to someone, it's more so about embodying a certain emotion and then using that emotion to project it. And then when that person thinks of you, they think of whatever you're also thinking of if they match the frequency of you. You see, this is the game changer with telepathy. And this is what Bashar says. This is what resonates with me. When you send a telepathic message to someone, it is not so much that that person is picking up on your message and then receiving it and then sending you back a message. It's just that you are having the same thoughts at the same time. So it's like there's these different wavelengths. And when you send a telepathic message, there's this wavelength that you're matching. And when you're thinking of someone else, if they match that wavelength as well, you then have that message, that telepathic message. But it's simply a frequency. So in the same way, one thing that happened with, I went and saw Bashar about 4 or 5 months ago. I went with Victor, Lior, Victor's wife, Patty. We all went, and the cool thing is Lior, Victor, and I, we all got to ask Bashar questions. So that was pretty cool. Now, one of the questions that I asked Bashar is I talked about archetypes. Archetypes are these collective unconscious energies that exist in our reality. We have the hero, we have the joker, we have all these different archetypes. And my question to him was, how much power do these archetypes have over us? How much do they influence us? And what he said is a similar thing. He said that it's all frequency. It's all frequency. We can choose to match or we can choose to not match. But it all exists here and now. In the same way, when it comes to sending a telepathic message, I'm going to share with you exactly how to do that in a second. But when it comes to a telepathic message, it's just frequency. We have our energetic fields, we pick up on frequency, and it's not so much that you are projecting out something as it is that you are emitting a certain frequency, and when someone else thinks of you, they can feel that off of you. Now let's talk a little bit more about energy for another second, because you'll understand what I mean by this. Many people that are going to want to send a telepathic message may want to send a certain emotion or have some type of motive with it. Here's the key though. When you send a telepathic message, how you feel is going to be what they feel, but what you don't want to do is you do not want to manipulate. You don't want to manipulate anyone. You don't want to send a telepathic message so that they call you. What you want to do instead is you want to focus on yourself. You see, if you really, really want someone to call you, when you think of them and you imagine them calling you, you're trying to control them. You're trying to have them do something. And when you think of them, you're going to feel the resistance of them not calling you or them not giving you whatever your needs are or whatever you want them to do. And when they think of you, they are going to activate that resistance you feel about them. So you see, the emotion you feel about someone else, when you think about them, when they think about you, they are matching your frequency, and then they will feel the same emotion that you feel. So this is why sometimes people go, I really, really want that person to like me. I really, really want that person to text me back. But they feel a longing, a desire for that person to text them back. And because of that, what ends up happening is when they think of that person, they're projecting out that person not doing what they want. They're projecting out that resistance, and therefore that other person is going to feel their resistance. So the key to this is simply making it more about you and your energetic field. You communicating with yourself. You feeling the emotions you want to feel. You filling up your own cup. And when you fill up your own cup, you can then project out and put out a frequency of love, and other people can feel that off of you. So when it comes to sending telepathic messages, understand you are picking up on frequencies all of the time. Other people are picking up on your frequency all the time. And anytime you think of anybody, you are picking up and drawing in on their frequency. So for example, if you are thinking of some motivational guy, I think the reason a lot of people may like to watch Gary Vaynerchuk. Wow, that's funny. I was just thinking of Gary Vaynerchuk, and I remember that last night I had a dream with him in it. Isn't that weird? When people think of this kind of person, they're drawing upon his energy or her energy. That's why a lot of people will like to meditate on some spiritual guru. They pick up on his spiritual energy, even if he's passed away. Everything is frequency. If you're thinking of Tony Robbins, then you're thinking of, whatever Tony Robbins is, you change your state, or whatever it is, you're picking up on that frequency. And you're most likely also, part of that is the frequency of the state that he's in right now. You see, so not just his content in general, but the frequency and state that he's in right now. So the key to this is understanding it's just frequency. And that it's not you sending and projecting, it's you matching a certain frequency within yourself. Also understanding there really is no other. We're all connected. So then it becomes, how do I communicate better with myself? Now, if you want to send a telepathic message to someone, what you do is you first get to your core. You get to a vibration inside of you, a feeling inside of your heart center, and you make sure that you know it's about the emotion. It's about the emotion that you are emitting, more so than it is the telepathic mental aspect of it. It's like you send the telepathic mental aspect of it, and it comes like this, and then the emotion is what moves it towards that person. But instead what you can begin to do is you can view yourself as already whole and complete, and you can tap into the vibration within yourself of certain mental pictures. You see, this is what it is. It's about mental pictures and emotion with that mental picture. So if, for example, you had people over at your house and you wanted them to help you do something around the house, instead of you imagining them helping you around the house, what you can do is you can imagine a time when you helped someone else around their house. You see the difference? You then bring the power within you and you focus on you, and sometime you've ever done that in the past, you pick up on a frequency within yourself, a memory and an emotion of how it felt to help someone else, and then when they think of you, they're going to feel that same emotion that you feel within yourself of you helping someone else. Do you see that? Do you see how that can work? It's about you feeling, having the mental image, feeling the emotion of some other time that you've done that, and then they pick it up on you. In the same way, you want someone else to text you back. First off, get to your core, realize you don't need anyone's approval, anyone's validation for you to feel good. And then what you do is you can remember a time that you got back to someone else. You can remember a time when you replied to someone else in a certain way. Feel that emotion of you feeling satisfied that you did it, or like you did something, got back to someone. You close that thought loop. And be in that energy, and then just see what happens. And if they text you back, great. If they don't, great. You're good. You're whole and complete already. But by doing that, you get to the core within yourself. You then energetically align with a reality where someone can text you back because your energy is on point. So for this process, it's about understanding that it's all about you and your messages with yourself, because when you communicate powerful messages within yourself, that then translates to other people. But when it comes to telepathic connection, that's the future for 5D. We're moving into a 5D level of consciousness. You could say fifth dimensional. We're moving out of the 3D physical ego bodies where it's just about heaviness, and we're moving into a lighter body, a lighter level of consciousness. And you may notice that there's a lot of synchronicity happening now. Manifestation will continue to raise in vibration, meaning when you think of things, they'll happen quicker than ever. Not only that, but time is appearing to go by faster. Not only that, we could say less, and we can actually communicate even better. There's been so many times Lior and I have had the same thought at the same time. And when I'm around, especially even with like Victor, for example, we'll be doing something and be like, dude, I was just going to say that exact same thing. Is it that we're projecting out these thoughts and we're doing all of these things? Or is it this, we're in the same frequency, so we're having the same thoughts at the same time? But if we want to project a certain thought, we must first off get to that core within ourselves. And if we want to project a mental image to someone else, understand it's about the telepathic, the message you have, the mental image, and then the emotion. The emotion. Get inside of your heart. Feel the emotion of you sending that energy out. That emotion will then be the carrier of that message. It's like the Cupid going around. It's like, yo, here's a message. Pooh. There's the like that, That's the telepathic message. It's an empathic telepathy, but understand, be okay already. Be 100% okay on the inside. Do not need validation. Do not need someone to text you back. Because if you need them to text you back, then many times they're going to feel that resistance on you and they're not going to want to do it. Just have more fun in reality as well. Have more fun, loosen up. This reality is much more dreamlike than you can even imagine. And when you allow it to be more dreamlike, it becomes much more fun, becomes much more lucid. Now, another thing that I have is right now there's this shift into a 5D level of consciousness that's happening on the planet. One of the most powerful meditations I've ever made is going to be out by the time you watch this video. Click the top of the link in the description box. Listen to it for 21 days. It will change your life. It will help you to bring more of these abilities on board. Your natural ability for telepathy, your ability to tap more into different probabilities, your ability to tap more into higher vibrational energy, it's all here for you. That meditation will help activate you. And you'll also tap into a group dynamic energy. It's very powerful. So listen to that for 21 days. It'll change your life. Also, Put on the notification gear so you can see the daily vids. The only way YouTube lets you see the daily vids is if you hit that button. I got a lot more good stuff coming, and I'm excited to share it with you. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, much love, and namaste.